So, I want to tell a sad story about a family that I grew up with that was in my congregation when I was little. They used to babysat me. They were, the dad, the mom. I don't remember either of their names. It was a really long time ago. But they had 4 kids. They all had odd names. There were 3 girls that were older and a boy that was only a few years older than me, but the girls were significantly older than me, but still teenagers when I can remember. They used to babysit me all the time. We lived really close to them. They had a really cool house. Like, I can remember this house had a lot of interesting balconies and crazy staircases. I also remember, how little boys can be when, they're uncomfortable around a girl. They don't really know what to do. They don't really know how to play. This isn't a sad story about me. This is a sad story about them. Nothing happened to me over there, but it could very well have. The older girls, they were getting into a lot of trouble in the congregation. I mean, they were just my friends. I was over their house all the time. They about the boy being uncomfortable. Like, the older girls would set up a mock wedding between me and him because it was just so cute for them. They would they would get a little dress and have him in his little tuxedo, and he would just throw a fit that was happening. I don't know, good memories. I liked them a lot. And even their mom was really nice. She taught a beading class, how to make beads out of clay. And I still have some things that I made that she showed me how to make. She was just a really, really nice lady. I loved them all. The older girls were having issues and getting into trouble in the congregations. I don't know. I don't really know of anything specific. I was really young at that age. All I know is, the second oldest girl got a tattoo, and it was, a huge scandal. You know how it is in the late 80s, early 90s. Tattoos are huge now. And they still are. I haven't seen people freak out at them like these people. But at the same time, I was like, wow, you can do that. That's so cool. That's such a neat thing. People are freaking out. I don't care. But anyway, so things progress along a little bit, and I'm not allowed to go to their house anymore. Wait, back up. I didn't talk about their dad. Their dad was a lawyer. I mean, they made pretty decent money. But he was always in a rage. He was apparently always drunk. But then so was my dad, so I didn't really know that's what that was. I just thought that's how dads acted. But one day, I was just lounging in the living room with the other kids, and I was sitting in his favorite chair, apparently. And he screamed at me, "Get out of my chair!" And if you're 5, that's terrifying. That's just absolutely insane. I mean, my dad was drunk all the time. He never screamed at me like that. This guy, he had this look in his eye. If I didn't move that second, he would have beat the living shit out of me. There's no question about that in my mind. Alright, a few years go by, and I'm not allowed to go over to their house anymore, unless I'm, with my mom. I don't really know why. I don't really care. Their dad scared me. I liked the kids, but it was all the same to me not to go over there anymore. The oldest one gets disfellowshipped, disassociates herself because she goes into the military. And again, it's a huge scandal in the congregation. Everyone's talking about her. You know how it goes. You know how these people are. Talking about her. Why did she do this? She's such a horrible person. I mean, I know now she was just trying to get out of there and was looking for any reason to do so. Because what was happening at that house, I found out a couple weeks ago, he was molesting every single one of them. Every single one. So, of course, they're going to have a few issues, And the elders knew about this because it was an elder who told me this was happening. He came into where I work And we had a conversation. I mean, it wasn't anything awkward. It's just he is like an old friend. Started talking about that family, and he's like, "Yeah, those poor kids. I don't know, I don't know what you could have done for them." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said anything." Like, wait, what happened? I was there too. I was there. What happened? He's like, "Oh, yeah, he was molesting them." And in the congregation, they got this really bad rap. And the elders knew what was going on, and they just didn't do anything to stop the gossip. They didn't do anything to stop all the negativity about them. Because they fell out one at a time. Like, first it was the oldest one going into the military, and then the second one, I don't know what happened to her, but she was the next to leave. And then after that, the mom left with the other two kids. Like, and I never saw them again until, like, years later. I remember when I was in middle school, I didn't recognize them. It'd been so long. But my mom is like, "Yeah, there's the family." And the third daughter had like a shaved head with a bullseye in the back. And of course, that was the talk of the town, like, forever and ever and ever. "Oh, what's she doing with her head shaved like that?" Apparently the boy was looking pretty rough too. This family has been through hell. They have... I can't even begin to imagine what they went through. And then they judge the kids for having a few issues? Girls don't have to have hair. There's nothing saying that. There's nothing saying they can't have a bullseye shaved in the back of their head, so what? There's nothing saying they can't have tattoos. These people were just dealing with the shit heap in their lives any way they could, and we judged them for it. We talked about them behind their backs. We were like, poor family, what's going on with them? They need to get back to Jehovah. God, this just makes me sick how we treated them. Me too. I mean, I heard all the things that were going on. I heard this is how we talk about people now, right? This is how we do it. I saw them years later. I was graduated from high school. A hurricane had come through the town just recently, or before that. And it was one of the big four in 2004. I don't really want to pinpoint where I live, but one of the big four hurricanes in Florida in 2004 came through. Our city was devastated. No power for weeks. I mean, we lost everything. And so my mom sends me to stand in line at the Red Cross for a stipend for clothes, because we have to buy more clothes because we don't have any more left. So I'm standing in line, and they call the names of this other family, and I'm like, wait, they're still around? They're still around. I didn't know that. You think that they leave the truth. I mean, like, where do they go? You don't know. You just assume they're not around. Why else wouldn't they be going to the meetings, right? There's no other reason. They left, right? Wrong. So that was, blew my mind that they were still there, and I stopped and I talked to them. And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I'm Tara. And these people look rough. They look really, really rough. It's the mother and the second daughter, the one who had the tattoo. They don't really recognize me. I don't really recognize them. I just recognize their names. And I'm still a witness at that point. And they look at me with such scorn in their eyes. They didn't want anything to do with me. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. You know, I went home and I told my mom how rough these people were looking. Apparently, the mother had split from the father, which needed to happen, obviously. And told my mom that I saw them, and I told her how they looked, and that our conversation was very brief. And she just kind of shook her head and said, yeah, that's how they are now. So, I mean, that's the impression you get about people who leave. I mean, they had to have a really negative opinion of all of us. There's no way they couldn't have. It's like the elders knew their children were being molested, but they didn't do anything about it. Didn't call the police, didn't anything, and it's sad. And now that I've left, I've heard of this happening way too much. Everyone I know has a story like this. Either it happened to them or it happened to someone close to them. I heard just recently too that they actually got the watchtower on one of these things for not calling the police, which is kind of what made me think of this story again. Another thing too, around the time when I saw the mother and the second daughter, I think it was around that same time, probably within a few months. I saw the oldest daughter, the one who had gone into the military. She recognized me. I didn't recognize her. She got out of there, and she seemed like the healthiest person that I've ever seen, because she got, well, maybe not that, but she got out of there, and she's doing great now, which is like a silver lining in all of this pile of shit. Anyway, that was just a sad story and a sad memory. Thanks.